Like, that's the funniest part is you just look at fucking red cities and red states, right? Look at red states. They think there's less crime in red states. There's literally more crime in red states than blue states. What are we talking about? People unironically think that California has a higher crime rate than like Oklahoma. It's just not true. Okay? Don't say wrong. Holy, that is so crazy. Let's get started on what some of the arguments that Cenk is going to present today. Let's develop a better understanding of what my interlocutor in the marketplace of ideas is going to come out with.
The thing that surprised me least about the election was the sharp red shift in these big cities. Because if you just talk to anybody who lives in them, they are furious. And this idea that like, oh no, the economy is actually good or crime is actually down.
Yeah, I think one of the funniest aspects is like, yeah, I wonder why the cities are experiencing a red shift. Blue cities, especially under blue leadership, especially. Maybe it has something to do with the fucking housing market. Maybe it has something to do with the affordability crisis making people go crazy. And on top of that, people getting priced out of the housing market is creating more homeless people, which many people is seeing as a reflection of crime rising dramatically, even if it's actually not. I don't know. Probably not. It's probably because crime is actually out of control. People are being murdered on the streets every single fucking day, nonstop. How does voting red fix that? What do you mean, voting red? How many times have I talked about this? People don't vote Republican because they're like, oh, you know, these guys are making reasonable policy prescriptions of the problems. They're just addressing the anger and very, very clearly looking at the anger that people have and then redirecting it to whatever the fucking notion is in their hearts. Like being like, yeah, you're mad because the cops are trying to do their best jobs. But honestly, despite the fact that they're getting $7 trillion every fucking day to do the shittiest job possible, it's actually not the police that's at fault here. Okay? You know who's at fault? You, the wokes who are making the police upset, the wokes who are saying that cops are doing a bad job. Don't say that cops are doing a bad job. Don't ever say that. How dare you say that? Cops are just doing their best fucking job. It's the woke progressive DAs backed by George Soros that's causing that's causing cops to not be able to do their jobs. It's like, when have they done a good job? They don't do a good job. I want them to do a fucking good job. Also, there's plenty of people who are just simply not voting, okay? There's plenty of people who are simply not voting. That's the other part. How do you argue against the idea that most people seem to jump to when you say that all the evidence shows crime is down, but when they say, well, most people don't report it? Yeah, that's also ridiculous because even the lack of reporting on crimes, okay, that people are experiencing is a combination of two reasons. One, cops don't fucking do their jobs, and it's very frustrating. And I always say this. I'm not saying cops immediately, we need to put every cop in jail, okay? Abolish the police. I'm not saying that at all. I am simply saying, do your fucking job. We need accountability for police. We need to greatly, just completely fucking change the policing structure in this country, okay? Do your job. That's number one. Number two, okay? There is also a separate, there are also separate studies conducted on the lack of reporting, okay? The attitude that people have about crime around them, and saying that they have been victim to a crime that they haven't reported. Like, there is a specific survey for this as well. And the numbers have not increased all that dramatically in comparison to prior years in terms of people who report that they have not reported a crime.
It's all just Fox News. Like, shut the up with that.
Congratulations, everyone. Libs have caught on to something that we figured out 2 years ago. Crime is a problem. And if you just tell people, voters specifically, that it's not a problem, and it was way worse in the 90s, so you shouldn't be complaining, there will be backlash. There will be blood, okay? And so here we are. Ezra Klein was on Pod Save America to reflect on the disastrous election cycle that we just experienced for the Democratic Party. And he touched on how poorly...
Like, that's the funniest part is you just look at fucking red cities and red states, right? Look at red states. They think there's less crime in red states. There's literally more crime in red states than blue states. What are we talking about? people unironically think that California has a higher crime rate than like Oklahoma. It's just not true. Okay? Don't say wrong. There's more crime per capita than in Oklahoma than there is in fucking California. It's just what are you talking about? This is just objectively, you're wrong. You're wrong. What the fuck? And it's not because of like no fucking reporting on the matter either. People have tried to figure out exactly where this attitude is coming from. People have been like, where is this coming from? Why do people think there's so much crime happening? The media has done reporting on this process. Okay. Yeah. National Crime Victim Survey crime data. This is the most comprehensive survey conducted on whether or not people are actually reporting the fucking crimes that they're experiencing. Okay. And the rate has remained stable in terms of like, you know, crime victimization rate has remained stable, and it has dropped year over year. In terms of people not reporting the victimizations that they are experiencing, there isn't a significant increase either. Is this survey legit? This is the only way that you can... This, alongside the FBI crime data, is the most comprehensive way, at least right now, the most comprehensive way that we can figure out if there is like a shit ton of crime happening. Okay? California is a shithole. Let's be real, Hasan. No, it's not. It's not. It's not a shithole at all. And all of the reasons why California has a lot of issues is because of the awful dog shit policies of the likes of Gavin fucking Newsom and the neoliberal Democratic Party that has basically used the blue headquarters that they have here in California and in New York State as a cumsock. Okay, this is their hunting ground. The way that they operate here is basically like how they want to ruin the rest of the fucking country. It sucks. California is a beautiful state. California in and of itself is like, by itself, California has one of the largest economies on the fucking planet, dude. What are we talking about? Like, when you look at the crime rate, state by state, California's crime rate is still going to be lower than a lot of these fucking red states. Okay? Like, look, Oklahoma's crime rate is higher. Highest is District of Columbia, then New Mexico, Louisiana, Colorado, South Carolina, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Washington State, Tennessee, Oregon, Missouri, Alaska, Utah, Hawaii, Arizona, Texas, North Carolina, Kansas, Alabama, and then California. And part of the reason why is because some of these fucking blue states have better gun control, for example. That's it. If guns are not easily accessible and readily available for people to fucking walk into a Walmart, okay, then guess what? There's going to be less gun violence. That's it. It's like that simple, okay? It's shit like that. Even with population density, the fact that, which is, you know, one of the higher markers of crime, if you have poor people slammed next to people that have, you know, more wealth, there's going to be more crimes. Okay. Population density increases the likelihood of crime. And even then, these states that have higher population densities, blue states specifically, because higher population density also means more likely that you're going to be blue. Okay. You're going to vote Democrat. And even then, with the exception of fucking DC, a lot of these states that have higher population densities, like big cities, for example, where people are living next to one another, have lower crime rates all around.
Blue cities have been run by progressive leaders. Got to keep it real. And so here's more of his argument. Here's more of his revelations, and then we'll break it down further.
The sense of disorder, right?
Illinois has the strictest gun law. You're wrong. That's really interesting that you say that, because Illinois still has a fucking lower gun violence rate per capita than not the national average, if I'm not mistaken, or it could be lower than the national average. And I wonder why Illinois still has a lot of gun violence. Perhaps it's because it's slammed to the fucking ass cheeks of states that you can cross over the state boundary with ease, where there are no gun laws. Illinois is not a fucking island, okay? There's no border control between Illinois and the neighboring states. You can just go to a neighboring state, get a gun from the fucking Walmart, and bring it back into Illinois and sell it. Brickhead, you thought you had a fucking fantastic revelation. Not only are you factually wrong, but also on top of that, not only are you wrong, yeah, here it is. Illinois' death rate is still lower than states with fucking... states with less gun control. Illinois' gun violence rates are still lower than red states. America's gun violence is so bad. America's gun culture is so violent and so bad. It's literally fucking up neighboring nations, dude. Virtually all of the guns in Mexico and in Canada come from America. Maybe not as much in Canada, but definitely in Mexico. It's like 70% of the guns apprehended by cartels is literally American guns. Okay? What the fuck? Anyway, why is New Mexico the highest, or so high? It is because, yeah, ATF trace data found that less than half the guns collected in Chicago crimes were bought in Illinois. Yeah. It is because it does not have a lot of gun control. It has no gun control, as a matter of fact. I've shot a ghost gun that was made in the state of New Mexico. Okay? I've shot it. Like an AR-15 that was handmade with no serial number. A ghost gun. Back when I used to do a lot of gun reporting, like, I need to learn this. Okay? I need to learn what the fuck's going on. It's legal in the state of New Mexico I mean, it's legal in many states to make a ghost gun, technically, unfortunately. New Mexico does not have a lot of gun control, okay? That's what it is. Less gun control, more gun violence. It's that simple, okay? Like, you rarely ever have this obvious of a problem, okay? Death rate. This is the firearm mortality, okay? This factors in suicide by gun. It factors in accidental, misfirings. Everything, okay? It is aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, all of that, okay? With a lethal firearm. Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California. Wait, what? The death rates are not. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Here it is. Mississippi, Louisiana, New Mexico, Alabama, Missouri, Montana, Alaska, Arkansas, D.C., South Carolina, Tennessee, Wyoming, Arizona, Oklahoma, Georgia, Nevada, Kentucky, Indiana, Colorado, Idaho, Kansas, North Carolina, North Dakota, West Virginia, South Dakota, Ohio, Texas. And then you get to Michigan. With the exception of fucking DC, look at this. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Anyway, as an outsider, what the fuck is wrong with DC? I don't know. We'll get to it. New Mexico is not red. New Mexico has no gun control measures. Okay? It doesn't matter if it's a blue state or a red state. I'm talking about gun control measures. When there's less gun control, there's more gun violence. That's how it works. Summary of New Mexico gun laws. No summary of New Mexico gun laws. Castle Doctrine, no net laws, no legislation, right to carry, confidentiality provisions enacted, right to carry in restaurants, partial ban. Right to carry laws shall issue, right to carry reciprocity and recognition, conditional recognition, right to keep and bear arms, state constitutional provisions with provisions. I'm literally an homosexual in New Mexico. Our gun lobby is absolutely insane, even in Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Yeah, most Americans are wrong about crime. This is like a comprehensive video on the issue. There are surveys that ask people about crime in the area. People say crime is not increasing in their neighborhood, but somewhere else, be it a different neighborhood or a different state, they imagine crime happening elsewhere while not experiencing it themselves. Exactly. Now, this is a little bit different in blue states, okay? And in big blue cities. A lot of the woke progressives in big blue cities are very pissed off. They're very pissed off about the homelessness. They see homelessness and they're like, that's crime, okay? That's it. They see trash. They're like, that's crime. They see homelessness. That's crime. I have a funny story for you. I found my old Israel flag from my college days and I told my mom I was going to throw it out if she didn't want it. She says she wanted it and told me to put it down, so I put it on the floor and stomped on it. She said, it's disrespectful to do that to a flag. I said, well, what if it was the Nazi Germany flag? Gagged her completely. Dude, okay, you're gonna give your mom a heart attack on Thanksgiving. That's crazy. Why does homeless equal crime? Well, one, because they also fucking have made it a crime to be homeless. And two, people see homeless people and they go, oh, this is like crime. This is crime happening everywhere. Okay. That's the feeling that people have. They don't think about homeless people as like people suffering that need help. Okay. They see them as like drug addicts who are mentally ill, who are taking a shit on the side of the road. And in some instances, they are doing that, but we've lost our humanity in the way that we analyze these people that have been fucked over by society. Okay. We just don't see them as human. We see them as like gross, disgusting, and we see them as like a nuisance at best. I'm not saying like, you know, hug and kiss every homeless person that you see, but like the government is supposed to be fucking helping these people. Okay. I'm Jewish, by the way. Please let the Diddy Gers know that. Oh yeah. Good luck. They're going to clip it anyway. God damn, dude. Holy shit.